Good morning. Today is September 27th. My name is Marty Forrest. I'm changing it. It's going to be changed. I realize I've been saying Hicks still because that's my habit, but we got married on the 9th, and I'm going to change it once the licensing all gets sent in and everything. There's been some stuff about that. Just little minor things. Anyway, Marty Forrest. My website is helloextraordinarylife.com. You can check that website out. There's a free, I changed it to an ebook. I'm offering a free ebook, so you can check that out and grab them. You'll get on the email list that way, and you'll hear all of the, you'll read all of the stuff that comes out about these calls, the topics, things like that. I have a course that is starting on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. There's still time to sign up for that if you are interested. It runs for 6 weeks. It will be from September the 30th through November 11th. There will be a break in the middle because I'll be out of town. So it's actually 7 weeks long, but it's 6 sessions. And that is a journey into loving yourself from the inside out. And I'm offering tips and tools, and we do some sharing. I don't do a lot of coaching. It's more of a mentor-type group. And then I do some personal calls in between to make sure you need help or whatever you need in between to support your journey on that road. I'm also for hire for one-on-one coaching to go deeper into that. And the course, I'm going to go back to the course. The course actually leads into that beginning journey of healing the inner child. Some people call it the wounded animal. So that's where it heads toward. That was where the real deep healing began for me as I started to heal that relationship with the little one that lives inside of me that's been carrying these wounds for so long. Once I started being able to learn how to take care of that child and heal those wounds, that's where the love begins. Because now I know how to give that to myself, and I'm not looking outside of me for someone else to meet those needs. Today, I wanted to talk about how does your bully speak? And I started that conversation after seeing something someone had posted about the bullying that happens in our world. And then someone was talking about what you call it sideswiping, calling, just kidding. You say something mean or nasty and just kidding. And it's all a form of bullying. Beyond that, I'm looking at how do we do this to ourselves? We see it. We somehow have normalized it in our world. Make it okay. Turn the other way. Let's not look. Let's not talk about it. There are many, many people who are talking about it. So that's not true everywhere. What I want to look at today is how do we do this to ourselves? We can call it, we can label it anything, but I think of it as real subtle forms of bullying ourselves, putting ourselves down. When we feel overwhelmed, we will always head toward that negative place and put ourselves down, sabotage ourselves, call ourselves names. I still do it. As much as I have done, that will still show up for me every once in a while when I miss an appointment or forget to put something on the calendar, or I say something that I just kind of go, oh my God, I just said that out loud. Well, that was really stupid. Do stuff like that. It's really, really insidious and really subtle, those ways that we speak to ourselves. And it's important to listen, because when I'm doing it to me, I'm going to allow someone else to do it to me, because they're just that external expression of my internal dialogue often, unless I am willing to set a boundary, call it out, say, hey, why you speak to me that way? Why is that okay? I'm not mean about it, but I let people know. My aunt one time, she said something, she called me a name. She called me stupid or dummy, and that was in the beginning, so I was not very nice about it. And I just looked at her and said, don't ever call me a name again. Well, I didn't mean anything by it. So there's that. Just kidding place that you were talking about, DJ. I didn't mean anything. Well, yeah, you absolutely did mean something. So what we allow is what we do generally to ourselves. If I'm allowing someone to speak to me that way, or sometimes I can just not take it personal. If I'm in a really good space, I can not take it personal, but that's not always the case. And if it's someone who's consistently doing that, where do I need to step up and pay attention to why am I allowing it? Do I need to address it with this person? And how am I doing it to myself? Because those things that I allow, I'm certainly doing to me, which is one of the reasons it pisses me off so much. Because I haven't quite distinguished or discerned that what somebody is saying, no matter how subtle, is also what I do to me. And that's what I'm really mad about. I may blame them, but I'm really mad at me because I haven't changed it, or because I'm not different, or because I've made it okay. Many of us may have grown up in those situations where we were criticized, or children were to be seen and not heard, or these are all mine. So the other one was, if you're going to cry, we're going to give you something to cry about. So that my parents didn't intend to create my own internal dialogue the way that it got created, but that's how it got created. It was not their intention. I took that on as I must be perfect. And if I'm not perfect, then I'm either not going to do it at all, or I'm going to just beat myself up because I'm not perfect right away. So there's many, many, many ways it shows up. Some are super quiet. I had a situation recently where I could still feel it happened, it rocked me to my core, and I went through this whole series of self-doubt, brought up all these deep layers of wounds. And even as time went on and I was healing that, I still felt this feeling, an underlying feeling of I'm still waiting for another shoe to fall, or someone would say something to me. Somebody said something to me 2 times in a conversation. I just have to tell you, and my whole body reacted to that because I'm waiting for her to say something about how I'm not okay, or I did something wrong, or she didn't say any of that, but I was reacting out of that wound that had gotten triggered. And that's how it keeps showing up. Today I get that it's showing up, and I want to share this with you because it's showing up, and if you're recognizing it and you're here to hear this, it's showing up because it's time. It's time for it to get moved out. It's being revealed, and we're being shown these things that are no longer serving us, and are no longer effective, are not working very well in our world. And it's just another place to continue our expansion and our growth into that journey. And it takes practice. I'd love to tell you there's a quick fix, but it all takes practice, and it takes time and commitment and putting things in place. And I tell people when I'm working with them, or in the course even, pick one thing that you want to focus on, because to do more than that, we'll set ourselves up. So if I want to focus on, let's just say, I'm going to stop judging me and you. That's a huge order. But it's only one thing. It just shows up in many, 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 many ways. So I say one thing because that one thing has huge ripple effects in your whole world, and it changes your whole world. I don't know about you all, but I like to do everything all at once. I need to change all of me, and I'm going to do it all right now. And it should have been done yesterday. Well, now I'm just sabotaging myself. It's a setup to fail because it's too many things. It's like changing our diet all at once, and then all of a sudden we go and binge because I've cut out, sugar, coffee, flour. I've just changed everything and made this massive change. After a while, I just go, screw that, let's go and have some sugar or relapse on something. Same thing when we're doing our own emotional work. So I tell people, pick one thing. If you want to change one behavior, let's just say, I'm going to start making sarcastic comments. Well, it affects everything in your life, right? It's a habit. It's what we do all the time everywhere. So pick one and just stay focused on that one and put things in place to remind you. Some people like those physical reminders of rubber band on their wrist or whatever. I'm not a fan of that. I would rather put a little note somewhere that I see or something that says, I'm focusing on this, and I set my intention to focus on this thing I'm going to work on today, tomorrow, the next day. And then when you take a step back, or 10, you just start over. You're human, and we have been doing these habits for a very, very long time, most of our life, if not all. And it takes practice. We didn't get here overnight. So it doesn't change exactly overnight. It changes quicker than you think, but it's not overnight. So it's faster than my 50 years on this planet. It'll change faster than that. And then I'll move on to the next thing. Just one at a time. That's what I'm advocating for you. One at a time. Pick one thing, and that's because, I'm going to just repeat myself if I keep going on that one. Let's just pick one. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to open the call. Let me unmute you. Okie dokie. You are all unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I can hear you now. I unmuted everyone, so yes, I can hear you. Anything resonate for you? Anything that you would add? I'm sure there's more to add, but comments, feedback?
Hold on, I'll take those.
I have something. Is anybody else talking? No?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not yet. Go ahead, Joni.
What resonated with me was, if you're going to cry, I'll give you something to cry about. Boy, did I hear that a lot in my family.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was, I know I was the sensitive one. So I heard that all the time. Not so much from my sister, but my parents, my brother, my brother-in-law.
That's a consistent message.
Pardon?
That's a consistent message.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was just more like the saying at the time, but I don't know. I never heard anybody else in their family say that. So, I kind of thought I was alone in that.
No, ma'am.
I mean, I never really gave it too much thought. I didn't like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a powerful message.
And I really loved what you said about allowing someone to talk to you that way. But actually, I'm mad at myself because I allow that to happen. That's a big one.
Yes.
I see that happening for me, yeah. But when you say pick one thing, I don't know what to pick. Pick one thing to work on?
Yes.
One
thing you want to focus on that you want to be different.
Okay. I have to think about that.
Yes.
Because I don't approach it in the right tone either.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody says something to me that I don't like the tone, I feel like it's my father talking to me, and I snap back, so I just say yes, dear, and shut up. Because I don't want to fight about it.
Also, so we'll be working on that some more, one-on-one.
Okay.
We'll do that one-on-one.
I'll let someone else talk.
Thank you.
Hey, Marty, this is Daly.
Oh,
I'm sorry, did I interrupt somebody?
No, go ahead.
No. What I was going to say, Marty, is that my bully is kind of insidious. So my bully makes excuses for unacceptable behaviors around me. Kind of like reminding me that I'm the little martyr and what I should put up with. And so I tend to put up with things that are unacceptable behaviors, or otherwise known as empathy to the degree of stupidity. So you personally know I've been working on this.
Empathy to the degree of stupidity. Oh my God, I'm writing that down.
This is what it feels like, because it's kind of like stopping me from moving forward, you know, sticking around toxic people and situations and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like my big project, and it has been for the last year. And I just want to share with everybody that, you know, the way I have found to be very effective to handle that is whenever I catch myself being really empathic towards somebody who's being, you know, flat out belligerent and unacceptable, then I have a little discussion with myself, and I'm like, okay, well, I understand that this is what you do typically, but how has this worked out for you in the past? So I'm having a little mini dialogue with myself, because I do recognize that it's good to have empathy, but not to the degree of stupidity. And that's what my bully does. My bully is very insidious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. I hear you. I can relate.
I know.
Yeah, I think we can all relate. And probably about in the late 90s or early 2000s, I was doing that. And my friend who's crossed over now was a holistic healer. She was hearing me say things like that, and she said, DJ, write this word down. And I took a pencil and I wrote Ho'oponopono. And it's a Hawaiian word. And believe it or not, I was so excited and just trusted her so much. She said, when you get that feeling, or if you do that to yourself, or if your internal bully is attacking you, just stop and say Ho'oponopono. And it's like H-O''. Oponopono is how I remember it the easiest. But I did that, and probably just about 2 years ago, she was in a nursing home from a stroke, and I went to go see her and thank her. I said, Lois, you have just, that word has given me a different life. And her daughter-in-law says, well, DJ, do you know what it means? And I said, no, I just liked that it worked.
Right?
I don't have to have the meaning. If it works, I'll take it. And so she said, you're kidding. And I said, no. It's kind of like, what is this about you? And I said, we're Choctaws. We were raised, we didn't ask questions. We went with the flow of the universe, Questions were a different culture than ours. So she said, well, let me get some material for you. Actually, you can go online. I think there's a book. There's a whole long story of this man, this kahuna, this man, a healer in Hawaii. He actually healed and cured an entire criminally insane unit in Hawaii, which they no longer had, and it took him 4 years, with that word, Ho'oponopono. When I saw what it meant, it just brought a revelation to me. It's like whatever your name is, Marty, DJ, to say, it says, say your name, to yourself when you do that. And when you do, any internal bullying, just stop and say your name. Say, I'm sorry. Tell yourself, I'm sorry. And I love you. And those three things in that little format is just, it changes the world for you. It has for me all these years. I just wanted to share that with y'all.
I have shared that too. I love that prayer. You can do tapping with it. There's a tapping solution, and there's all kinds of things that have been applied to it, and it's been very effective. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Anybody else before we depart?
Oh, can I say a final thing, Marty?
Sure.
Do you remember Billy Kelly or David Kelly? David Kelly gave me a technique that just totally, of course, I'm still doing psychotherapy and counseling, but it's something that just also has been so strong, especially to us survivors. And I say us because kind of what, I pick up on is there are people out here that if we've been bullied or we've had this put down or there's sideswiping, we've been hurt. So in that sense, we're kind of all survivors. And his was about going into a cave and seeing all these children in this cave after you go through the woods and go into this cave and you see this child, but only one of them sees you. And you invite that child, like you're talking about, it's inner child work, and take it to the to the creek or the river or go and just play and then go put her back. All those kind of things are healing. Well, when you first started talking today, I thought you said, "What are you carrying in your room?" And I know, what are you carrying in your room? And I thought, hey, that may just be a whole new thing to do. Like I work with young people and just, draw this picture of your house and all these rooms. What's in that room? What's in that room? Do you have a love room? Do you have a nurturing room? Do you have a kitchen where you can eat cheese and crackers and fruit? It can just like bubble and go on. The reason that hit with me was when I first, and I hope I don't take too long to tell the story, but when I first started doing a psych internship, it was in a medium security prison. So there were lots of information that I did not want to go home with. So, So the supervisor says, well, do you have like a file cabinet in your brain? Make a little place and put it in that file and leave it there and don't open it until you need to see that client for the next session or something. Perfect. Well, that has worked all these 35 years or whatever, that this has worked in that room. And when I heard you say, what are you carrying in your room? I thought, that's brilliant. I might have to grow with that.
I have heard that before, to be able to file it away until you need it.
So thank you today. Thank you and the other visitors as well. Thank you very much. This was a great day with this. I liked it.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. It is 9:32, so I'm going to